Okay, hope you can hear me now. Let me know. Can you hear me now? Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me now. Can you hear me? Mic check, mic check. Can you hear me? Good night, fellow Uniters. Can you all hear me now? Wonderful. Excellent. Thank you so much for that. We had some technical difficulties. System went blank on me there for a second. Not sure why, but we're used to this now, right? We're used to our system being interrupted. But anyways, tonight I'm supposed to be joined by some young people again, but I'm not seeing them yet. I'm not sure why they're not here yet. Let me just check out over here. 1 second. Anyways, let's wait for them. I'm sure they're going to join us soon. Hope you all had a good day today. I had a very interesting day at court. As you know, I continue to be dragged through the courts by the government of Jamaica because of the last year, September 22nd, when we did the march downtown, and I was arrested for that. So I'm still in court on that. So today I went back to court, and this time it was a bit of a drama. The court needed to receive a letter or document from my lawyer to clarify with certainty in writing about the matter before the Supreme Court, because there's really 3 cases here. Case number 1 was the walk I did in Mandeville, which they, in a delayed fashion, charged me for while I was in Kingston. And then, of course, the Kingston March, which they abducted me and locked me up for, and then charged me with breaking the Public Order Act and the DRB. And I countersued, if you will, and brought the government to the Supreme Court for violation of the Constitution that they should be following. And in the process, I have to go to the lower courts regularly until the Supreme Court rules on the constitutionality of the DRMA, which would then determine whether or not I was guilty of anything under their laws and their rules. But today in court, the judge wanted to see documents from the Supreme Court, which my lawyer failed to provide after being requested to do so from the previous sitting of the court. And so I had to leave the courtroom, and my lawyer or his deputy that was present made some links and calls, and then I was called back into court. And then subsequent to that, the judge set a new trial date for our new date of September 21st, when I have to get back into court again to then get a new hearing for whatever they'll do next. In the meantime, the Supreme Court has set a date for first hearing on the 14th of June next year. All of this, of course, is taking up a lot of time and money, while, of course, seeking to impede my progress in the electoral process. But we continue. We move on there. All right, I'm seeing 1 member for young team on, but I'm still waiting for the rest to bring them on in full. 1 second here. Let me just take this out of the way. There we go. Right. So the long and short of it is, is that my trial is really not my trial. It's for us, right? It's we the people. And I hope we all see it that way. So it's not really Joseph Patterson. It's we Jamaicans. We are on trial. We are on trial for basically demanding our right to be able to walk and protest freely in our society without being in any way prevented by the government if we're not doing anything wrong, like destroying public property or infringing on anyone's rights. All right, so we have two of our guests lined up. I'm waiting to see. I think there's a third that might be coming on tonight, but let me start with who I have now while we're waiting for the others to come in. So, oh, by the way, tonight we're going to be talking with some young people who are forming the youth arm called the Youth Republic. So the UIC Youth Republic. So this is where we're going to find the leaders, in the not too distant future of not only the movement but our country. So these young people are preparing to govern our country. They're preparing to ensure that Jamaica has a good system of governance and that they are equipped with the knowledge, experience, and competences necessary to effectively run our government. The way we have government now in Jamaica, our politicians are not necessarily trained and prepared for the task at hand, and we need to change that. So one of the UIC's policies is to make sure that politicians are actually trained to serve in the capacity for which they're putting themselves forward. So you'll hear more about that later. But for now, let me welcome to the stage with me Rashid Brown and Adriana Pinnock. Good night, lady and gentlemen. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I'm well.
Good. You're well? Good to see you. Looking bright as ever. Did you have a good day today?
Relatively.
Relatively. Oh, me too, relatively. In fact, I was standing on a road in Mandeville today where we're doing a little bit of canvassing in the community after court. And right where we're standing, a bike man rode out on his bike, and a car, which was coming at a fairly high speed, hit him and hit the bike. So that was right. I was standing. It happened right behind me. I was just standing like this, and he came around and just whoops up into here. The good thing is he survived. No obvious, apparent broken bones or anything. He was quite lucky. He was carrying one of those, those bags they use for delivery. So when he flipped in the air, he actually dropped on the bag. So that kind of cushioned the hit when he came down. But the person that was driving the car didn't stop. They actually stepped on the gas and out of there. Yeah. So, it was quite traumatic, but I'm glad he's alive. And I hope another person caught the car license plate on their phone. So I think if the police are able to act fast, they will find the person. But anyways, welcome to both of you. And we're just going to get right into it until the others join us. So we'll let the lady go first and introduce herself and tell us, why she is a leader in this movement and, why she is doing what she's doing, a little bit about her background and anything you want to share. That's not too personal, I guess. So go ahead, Adriana.
Adriana.
Oh, Adriana, I'm so sorry. Thank you. Well, I don't know what's wrong with me and that Adriana thing there, but Adriana, go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
so good night to everyone. My name is Adriana Pina. I am 17 years old. I've just graduated from St. Hugh's High School for Girls, and I'm currently looking forward to sixth form where I will be pursuing a career in computer science. I am mostly a productive person who works extremely hard to achieve any goals I have set for myself. And I am doing this simply because I want to build a better Jamaica for the future children who are growing up now and for the older ones who are here now. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you, Adriana. Much appreciated. And Rashid, how about you?
My name is Rashid Brown. I'm 17 years of age, and recently I've also graduated from Wilmer's Boys School fifth form with 8 subjects, and I'm currently pursuing to go to sixth form at Wilmer's lower six, planning to do stuff like SATs just to broaden my capability around the world instead of restrict myself to only Jamaican education system. And in the future, I'm kind of going towards an architecture to kind of build better buildings in Jamaica, to be honest. because so far it's either not up to code or not visually appealing enough so it could be, a great Jamaica that we know it as.
Okay, wonderful. So what is it that caused you to be interested in the political side of things in your country?
Well, interested is a strong word, I believe. I I would like to say I'm very observative of the situation and very keen of it, because it is not a hidden thing. It isn't something that is on the wraps. It is very much on the surface, and it's a bit of a cliche topic at this point, as
Mm-hmm.
everyone knows the government and the capabilities. And it's not only restricted to Jamaica or the Caribbean, it's a worldwide thing that the government normally tends to lie to the people or certain things like that. But I'm interested in, say, the aspect of changing Jamaica rather than the political side.
Makes sense. I understand. Uh, and the funny thing is, when you hear the word politics, well, before I go there, let's welcome Rashid Downer. Rashid, your turn to introduce yourself.
I
Rashid,
guess it's that time. Are you hearing me? Let me just be
yes, we
clear.
can.
Alright, do we introduce my position first or we'll do that after? Not
Uh,
sure.
whatever works for you. It's quite open.
Okay, so firstly, I am Rashid Ono. I am 14 years old. I am the chairman of the Youth Republic. Um, I currently attend the Calabar High School for Boys, where I resided 96. Um, Number one, school is the main priority. Work comes after. What gravitated me to politics? That I saw the injustice. I saw what is happening, and then I decided to make a shift to join a movement that I support, the independent army.
Okay. Thank you very much, Rashid. I was going to ask the question earlier. What does politics mean to you? What does it mean? The word politics. What does that mean to you, really? Because I noticed that sometimes people, when they hear the word politics, it sounds like a bad word to them. So, what does it mean to you, Adriana? Adriana.
Well, when I hear the word politics, I mostly think of anything related to how a country is governed, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Rashid?
I think that the reason why politics seems to be such a bad word is normally what's associated with it. A bunch of lie and corruption normally. But to me, I believe that politics is normally the activities that the government would normally, no, I couldn't say enforce. I guess the activities associated with the government that's governing an area or country.
Okay. Um, the I'm going to give you my perspective on it and tell me if it makes sense to you. Politics is the art of people negotiating how they're going to live together. So I'll tell you why I put it that way. If you found yourself on an island by yourself, you would make there actually you won't even make any rules because you won't have to negotiate with anybody. Adriana, you just wake up in the morning and you decide, what do I want to do today? There are no boundaries except the limitations of nature. So if you're on an island, your only boundary is, okay, if I walk off the island, I'm going to walk into the sea, and maybe I don't want to do that right now because it's shark infested or whatever. So you're limited by nature. You can't fly because you can't fly. We can climb a tree and try to see how high you can go. But the moment we put both of you on the island, Adriana and Rashid, the three of you, Adriana, Rashid, and Rashid, the three of you now on the island, you have a problem, right? Because now you have to decide, how do we share the space together? Yeah. Which side is my side? Which side is your side? Um, uh, Adriana said, "Come on, guys, I want to sleep. I want to get to bed by 9 o'clock. I can't. I didn't know you guys are beating drum outside, bam, 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 bam. Or maybe Rashid decided that he needs to sing some night songs, and it's so the politics is really the three of you now finding a mechanism to say how do we agree on how we share this island in a way where each of you don't need to kill each other, right? In the process, you create laws. Now, if you multiply that by 1,000 people, or 5,000 people, or 10,000 people, or a million, you see how complex it gets, right? It gets more complex. So politics is how you negotiate all of that. When you grow up, you're going to hear more about office politics. When you go to the office, it's about, what are the unwritten rules about how we conduct ourselves in the office. I mean, it might not be written down so much, but the rules. In life, it's the same thing. You have politics. Now, politics can be labeled as dirty politics. They can become dirty, right? So, meaning now people are doing dirty things to get their way. So, for example, let's say you have a court system, and when you come to the court, you're expecting justice. You're expecting that you're going to have an independent jury who they're not somebody who has been paid to render a particular verdict. They're not being influenced by a particular set of people. They're going to listen to the case, listen to the issues, and return a verdict based on being open and honest and reasonable. And you have a judge who is properly trained in administering the law, and he's going to act in accordance with good ethics. And then you have lawyers now who are defending or prosecuting, right? And they're all operating according to what you read in the book, as opposed to what might really happen, which is a guy outside pay off, somebody, and they tamper with evidence, or they buy out a judge, or they buy off a jury, or whatever. So there you can end up with dirty politics versus what you'd want to be, an ethical, upstanding, moral political system. So politics is not inherently dirty, nor is it naturally good. It requires a number of elements coming together for it to work properly. But let's continue. I heard Rashid introduce himself as the chairman of the UIC Youth Republic. What's your role, Adriana?
Well, I am the president of
Yay.
Youth Republic.
All right, so Adriana is the Youth Republic president, and you were elected by your fellows. Congratulations. And Rashid, what's your role?
I am the VP of Middlesex.
The VP of Middlesex. Congratulations to you as
Thank you.
well. So how are you finding your job so far?
It has been uh it's been great, but it's also been a challenge with the time management.
Yes,
Seeing as we have school preps happening now, and then so I'm just trying to manage the time basically.
exactly. So it's quite a juggle. How is it for you, Rashid?
Oh, I'm also appreciative of the position. Time management wise has also been a struggle. Also,
Mm.
that I have a school coming up really soon, Monday, coming actually. So
Mm.
it's all about arranging myself to fill both roles effectively instead
Mm.
of breaking one down to uplift the other.
Right. And Rashid, how about you, Rashid Downer? How is
Mhm.
your time management or experience as chairman of the Youth Republic? Right. I think he's probably in a bit of an engagement with mommy. I know he had some chores to do. But anyways, I find it very difficult as well being president of the UIC, because it's very challenging for me in terms of balancing time. You have a business to run, and you have family commitments, and then you have the UIC, so it's not very easy. But I do recall my days in high school. I don't know about you, but back then, when I was in high school, I was uh, student council president, key club president, literary club editor, junior achievement VP of finance, and the math club founder and president. And I also sat on the quiz team and the debating team as well. It's quite extensive, actually. I mean, I was surprised that at the end of it, I managed to muster up 13 subjects, but it was quite a juggling act to try to keep all of that together. But I was, what do you call it now? I was a bit of a, I loved being involved in activities. I loved being involved in those things, especially Key Club. I was Key Club president as well. And that was really fun because we learned governance issues in there, like, how to organize yourself, got a constitution and all that kind of stuff. So it was fun. So in your roles now as chairman, president, vice president, I think there are two other persons, right? There are two other VPs.
Yes. VP for Surrey and VP for Cornwall.
Okay, who are the VPs for Surrey and Cornwall?
VP for Surrey is Natasia Evans,
Mhm.
and the VP for Cornwall is Adiel Campbell.
Okay. And what are your big objectives? What are kind of like the top objectives you have in mind for the coming, term as members of the NEC for the Youth Republic?
Well, at first it's simply to go ahead, Ajay.
Okay, so we intend to do projects and find ways to help youths, anyone who needs help really, and that will be our first step towards making Jamaica better. So yes.
Okay, good. Recently, I saw a young lady on one of our internal group posts. There's a young lady that was she 13 years old or I heard, well, I think her mother said she was 13 years old and that she ran away from home and that she was probably living with an adult, an
Yes.
adult male. And so the mother gave one story, and then the child came on. I think one of you found another video, and the child came on and gave her version of the event. Um, but I was really touched by the fact that you guys wanted to help this person and stuff. Do you feel comfortable talking about it a little bit for us to share with us what you know so far, and not the gritty details, just the general outlines and what you think about all of that situation generally? Okay, Rashid,
Okay.
you want you to go. Oh, okay.
Oh, he can go.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so what we know so far is that the mother says that the daughter is 13 and such and such. She ran away from home to go and live with a male who is years older than her. And the daughter's side of the story, she says that she's 17
Mm.
and that she ran away because her mother was trying to sell her. And yes, two different sides.
Hmm. And this is being played out on social media. So the mother is talking, creating a video. Was it a WhatsApp video the mother did, or
No, it was a TikTok video.
a
While the
TikTok
daughter
video?
created, the daughter went live on Instagram and posted the live on her page. So
Right.
yes.
So, I mean, we're in a very different world today, right? I mean, back in my time, we never had the luxury of that. I mean, you're lucky if you had a phone in your house, much more to be able to do anything, right? So in my time, my father had a cell phone. It was about the size of a hammer. It was so big, right? So here we have now today, a mother goes on TikTok and shouts out her business, her and her daughter's business, in very crude ways as well. And I think she was implicating the police and the child protection agency as well as not doing their job. and then of course kind of cussing out her daughter a little bit as well at the same time, and saying, well, if it's man you want, man you gonna get, something like that. And then on the other side now, the girl is saying, she's kind of very disappointed in her mother, that her mother is the one who pushed her to have to run away from home, and that she tried to reach out to her mother and her mother doesn't reciprocate. The thing is, I don't know who to believe in, because it's just two different sides of the same story. But what you're saying is the Youth Republic wants to be able to find a way to help wherever possible to see if we can kind of bridge the gap somewhere and get these people in the right place. The child get a truly effective
He's gone. Yeah. Okay. I guess we'll just continue the conversation then without him. Okay. Rashid. Rashid. Okay. I guess we'll just continue to talk about the situation. Well, yeah, with the whole situation, it's kind of a tricky situation, I would have to say, because, and it all goes back to the negative and positive implications of social media, actually, because if we didn't have social media to connect the world together, well, one, we wouldn't hear of the story first of all, but we wouldn't hear of a potential either pedophilic situation if we're believing the mother's story, or basically, well, what would you call selling a child, selling off a child. So I guess it's a situation where we don't really know who to help. Okay, we don't really know who to help in such a situation because we don't know who to believe, and I guess that's really the complications of what we're facing right now. Because on one hand, obviously, the mother is suggesting that this is a pedophilia situation, that the 13-year-old child ran away to live with a male that is obviously much older by suggestion, and the daughter said that she's already of age or near of age, which is 17, and then it becomes a child trafficking situation because then we're hearing that the mother is trying to sell the child. So it's really complicated and it's really hard to follow, really, because it's more of a truth versus lie, he said she said situation, and that's where we really fall as the spectators of what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my thoughts. Oh, I see that. Oh, Mr. Patterson is back. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, please continue the conversation. Did you have a comeback for that, Adriana, or a thought?
Well, my thoughts. It's always said that there are three sides to the story. There will be one person, there will be another person, and then there will be the truth. And the truth is what we might not know, but by putting the two stories together, there is a way for us to help both persons. There is a way for both persons to benefit from that. It's just for us to sit and find a solution towards that problem. So, yes, that's my take.
And one of the first things to do is to make sure that we don't put ourselves at risk when we're trying to help. So you want to first direct it to those who are placed in a position to help. So, for example, the police is number one. So if we become aware of something, we first make sure we direct it to the police. Don't take it on ourselves because it might prove bigger and more monstrous than we can imagine.
Yeah.
And secondarily, also inform ourselves. So find out what are the relevant government agencies that should be involved. And, from a limited perspective, we can find out if they are aware of the case and are on it, and of course we can send them whatever material we have, and help them to move it along. Now, as good citizens, we also want to be aware of when public agencies might be falling down on their responsibilities. Yeah, because sometimes they don't necessarily carry out what they say on paper. So on paper you hear a beautiful mission statement and we will do the world, but then when you go and check it out, it's probably 50% or less than what they said on paper. So we will be vigilant and use our sphere of influence to at least call attention to deficiencies in the system and cause reaction. For example, I'll give you one. Just today I got a video from somebody showing me one of the ministers of government advocating one more of the UIC's policies that they weren't advocating before. So even though we're not elected, because we bring forward certain things to the society, the government then in their competitive mode then tries to adopt and own it so that they can own it before the next election. But in a good way, sometimes that will lead to good for the society, because the existing government is forced by our action to take an action which then becomes a benefit to the wider society. So I'm always pleased, even though it's never fun when somebody just takes your idea and runs with it and doesn't give credit to the source and pretend as if they thought about it. But in my opinion, if they actually were to do it, then that's a benefit immediately to society. I don't have to wait until I'm elected for that benefit to start to be derived. In some cases, though, they'll just take it just to own the word or own the phrase. So that's the dirty politics side of it. In other cases, we're influencing them and they're doing something good because they want to be the first to do it, and then that benefits the people. So I'm all for the second one if that really happens. Welcome back, Rashid. We missed you for a bit.
Sorry, Uncle. As I stated to you, when mommy calls, you have to run.
Absolutely. So
But yes, sir.
So what I want to do now, if it's okay with you, do you want us to shift now to kind of look at the governance model of the UIC, and then next week we'll look at the governance model of the Youth Republic? Would that be okay?
All right. So we're going to consider the governance model of the Youth Republic first, then we jump over to the overall modeling system, which is the UIC, right?
Sorry, say that again. You kind of broke
All
up a
right,
bit.
sure. I guess. Yeah. So we're going to look into that. So we're going to look at the governance model of the Youth Republic, the governance model of the UIC. Noted.
Okay,
All
go
right,
ahead. Let
I'm
me
okay with
hear.
that. Oh, I should go. Sorry. Are you guys still hearing me, right? Mic check.
Fair.
Alright, so firstly, how we at the Youth Republic or positions follows the United Independent Congress leaders model. So we start by having outside of the person that the big man of things who run the stuff is the chairman, of course, who give the final say so. Alongside the president, in short term, we the president of Jamaica, so the youth president of Jamaica. All right. Then we have the VPs, which will kind of contextualize and break down all of these stuff, So each parish actually gets its own represent their voices, right? So we have our VP of Cornwall. I think I'm not sure all of them, but I know that we have two of our VPs here. I think no, one of them. Sorry. So our president is Miss Pinnock, Adriana Pinnock. She can just wave her hand and say hi. Or one of our VPs. Not sure which county he serves into. Not remembering everybody correctly, but I think he's either Middlesex, if I'm correct. And that is Middlesex. All right, wonderful. So Rashid Brown is the VP of Middlesex. And I'm going to ask Adriana to help me to name the other two VPs. Trying to find the list on my end. Sorry. But as opposed to when mommy calls, you just have to get up and rush to what she's saying. So 1 second, please. So our VP of Carnival, Tassia Evans, she's unavoidably absent tonight. And our VP of Surrey, Vice President, in charge VP, would have been Adele Campbell. Adele is the past valedictorian for Wolmer's High School for Boys. She's currently attending their sixth form from correct. And Natasha, she is a student leader and a youth entrepreneur. All of the persons of the team, they have strong leadership backgrounds, which is why they were henceforth selected. So it's a power team, I love to say. It's a power team, right? Everybody on the team has something to offer. And then continue down now, we have our parish represent their parish as recognized. All 14 parishes from St. Catherine, Westmoreland, and as well called Bakayan, which is Montego Bay and those places. We have 40 representatives, one representative per parish. And yet, as this is not fully ready, we do have a strong body of person who will represent parish level. And then the other directors that, which work in the back. I will call them the back executive, manages the background. So we have our director of regulations and safety. We have our We have our director of community relations, PR, and or director of security and community welfare. And then the last one is the director of human resources, termination, and volunteerism. So those are the three directors we have. We have started the discussion with Mr. Patterson as it was here now. We are in the process of wanting to have constituency representatives. Three constituencies we want to have a representative represent all the three constituencies. So though there are plans in the making, but I'm going to hand over to Mr. Patterson so he can, the UIC's model of governance, and you guys are going to see how do they both have some strong ties, and then we can jump into the plans and expectations if it hasn't been done already. Uncle, over to you.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much, Rashid. So what I'm going to do is I have a little PowerPoint presentation here that you can see. What I'm going to do first of all is to, let me see here. I'm going to jump to near the end of the presentation so that you can see the organizational chart. Where is it? Here. The org chart of the UIC as it is structured right now. And see that fairly clearly. I will take you off screen for a little bit so that you can, nobody's blocking the diagram. Okay, who am I missing here? All right, great. So let me see here, 1 second. Let's pick this up. All right, here you go. So the way the UIC is structured right now, you have a chairman who advises the president. The president is the chief executive officer who oversees the entire organization. The chairman advises the president and also chairs the dispute resolution committee and chairs the meetings of the NEC. This is to ensure that if you're having a meeting and the president is the subject of the meeting, for example, He wouldn't chair the meeting, the chairman would chair. Or if the president is answering questions of the rest of the body, then you have the chair who is mediating all of that. This brings a lot of fairness and balance to the discourse inside the National Executive Council. Within that council, you have the Treasury Secretary, who takes care of the finances. And you have the General Secretary, who is the Chief of Staff or the Chief Administrative Person who oversees the operations and is also responsible for communications. Then you have directors, who may be a number of persons: membership director, recruitment director, and so on. And you have the president's cabinet is not a part of the NEC, so excluding the cabinet. These are persons who are subject matter experts in different areas who would report to the president and would hold ministerial positions or shadow ministerial positions at the moment. They would be drawn from the MPs and from the parish managers within the NEC, within the UIC structure right now. There are 3 vice presidents who report directly to the president, one for Cornwall, Middlesex, and Surrey, and they have parish managers who report to them. So in the county of Cornwall, for example, there are 5 parishes. So those 5 parish managers report into the Cornwall VP. Currently, the VP for that position is Kenrick Gordon. For the VP for Middlesex, who is currently Donovan Moore, he would have the 5 parish managers that makes up Middlesex reporting into him. And then the vice president for Surrey, which has 4 parishes, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas, and Portland, they would report into her. That's Daniel Burke. Now, under each of the parish managers, you have constituency managers. And by the way, a parish manager is somebody in our structure who is eligible to be appointed as senator under the current system of governance that Jamaica runs. So they're being trained and prepared to operate under that system as a senator when we're elected in the interim, until we transition to the UIC model of governance, which will make senators elected. The constituency managers report to the parish managers, and these are our MP candidates under the existing system of governance. So these persons will be on the ballot as MPs in the next election. They run the constituency as the chief executive officer for the constituency. Under each of the constituency managers, and there are 63 of them, while parish managers would be 14. Under each of the constituency managers, you have the division managers, who are our councillor candidates. So every councillor candidate is a manager for a division, and they each report to the constituency manager or MP within whose constituency boundary they fall. These division managers or councillor candidates are the chief executive for their divisions, and they have PD supervisors reporting to them. PD supervisors are those who are responsible for the polling divisions under each of those municipal divisions. The PD supervisors also manages the community capital club. So in every community, you should have a community capital club, and the PD supervisor would be the chief executive officer for those clubs, or the club in their respective area. And of course, the clubs are focused on education, empowerment, and financial freedom for the members in the club. We help them to understand good governance, civics, economics, entrepreneurship, and community service, so that they're effective citizens in general. I'll pause there and take any questions you might have for me at this time, based on the model that you just saw a minute ago. So let's see here. Who am I missing? Okay. All right. So any questions or comments? on the model that you just saw?
Not
No?
Well,
particularly.
Yeah, go ahead, Adriana.
sorry about the clash a while ago. Adriana, but she said
No, it's
Madam
fine. I
President.
don't
Sorry
have
about
any
the clash.
questions. You can go ahead.
Madam President. Um, well, Uncle, I could just say that um, we're nearly there. All right, we're nearly there. We
Mhm.
have managed to follow some of the positions that you guys have so far, and we are going to be, extending by God's will. We're praying that we get some new members so we can extend to have the division teams, the parish councils, no, the parish managers, the
Mhm.
constituency MPs, and other important. And super sorry, I forgot to mention our secretaries, the most important person, the
Mhm.
secretaries and treasurers.
Okay.
So just to give a short little notice of that, our secretary is Ariana Edwards and Stasia Sinclair. I think you have met Stasia already from the last cohort of Youth Republicans.
Mhm.
Yes, so
Yes.
that's that.
Okay. So, Rashid, that is, any comments or questions from you?
None of any importance. It seemed like an effective way to carry out an organization for the most part. Hopefully, Youth Republic can follow in the footsteps of UIC at the current moment and expand with more people joining in so we can handle more responsibilities and kind of have the delegation of work flow more smoothly in the organization, is all I have to say.
Yeah, man. And it takes time. I mean, even as a bigger organization, we continue to struggle to make sure we can fill out all the position on a consistent basis with quality people. Because sometimes you might find a person who is willing but they're not able. You might find a
Yes.
person who is able but they're not willing. So it's always a challenge, and you just keep working until we find the right mix and balance of people going on. What I'm going to do now, if you don't mind, I'm going to now take a step back and just walk you through from the high level now, the vision, mission, objectives, and so on. Would that be okay?
Sure.
All right.
Yes,
So
that's
Yes,
let's
Uncle,
perfectly
I
take
think
fine.
we can go after you with the Youth Republic soon.
say that again. Sorry.
I think we can go after you with the Youth Republic mission and vision. Adriana,
Absolutely.
can you please up in the meantime because I do not have my phone. So over to you.
Absolutely. So let's see if we can do that. 1 second here. All right. So going back to my diagram here, I'm just going to rush back to the top and begin with, there's a little phrase at the bottom. Let me just take you off so you can all see it clearly. Um, there's a reason why we have this phrase at the very bottom of our introductory slide that says a real new Jamaica. We underline real because politicians have a way of promising you new, but then you discover that it's not real. So, we want to make sure you know that it's a real new republic or new Jamaica that we're going to create. Uh, the Our vision for Jamaica is vision statement is a Jamaica that brings out the best in all its people. And we deliberately chose that simple but powerful statement because the current system we have is a Jamaica that brings out the worst in all its people. It brings out a lot of corruption, it brings out division, a lot of strife, and make us less productive, less efficient, less economically prosperous, and as a result, many Jamaicans just live to leave the country. As soon as they finish some level of schooling that makes them competent to a degree, they want to leave the country. So the goal is to change that by creating a Jamaica that brings out the best in all its people. The mission statement is a nonpartisan constitutional republic of Jamaica that protects individual liberty and promotes personal responsibility. So each of these words have very, very important meaning. Non-partisan mean we're going to have a system that doesn't divide us, but of us operating in a culture now of unity and togetherness, recognizing that we don't need to sit on either sides. What we need to do is to understand the issues and then make sure that we implement the policies and laws to resolve those issues as best as possible, rather than seeing ourselves as partisans. So we're going to break down the partisan system. Constitutional, in that we want to be a country that's ruled by laws instead of by the whims of men. So we don't want a system where when you elect somebody, then they just come with whatever new and whatever. We want to make sure that there's some sound structural things that are not removable. So for example, we want to codify in law strongly that Jamaica is a nation that will respect your individual sovereignty, and that under no circumstances, be it a pandemic, war, or any other challenge that the country may face, the government will never have the right or the authority or the power to infringe upon your individual sovereignty. It can only give you options, give you the environment to empower you, but it does not have the right to cross the borders of your individual sovereignty. And that's really what makes us a republic, a true republic, not a fake republic like Barbados or Guyana or the US or China, but a real republic, because we are protecting your individual sovereignty. And that's why we say protecting individual liberty. And at the same time, we want you to understand that with liberty comes responsibility. So we want to promote you taking personal responsibility for your choices. So even though we give you the power to make the choices for yourself, we want you to know that you have to take responsibility for those choices as well. Our value system is driven by three core ideas. One is that, everybody has a right to be free, and as such, I want to protect your individual liberty and enforce your personal responsibility. And we want to operate in an environment where there's equal opportunity. So, for example, our education system, we want to provide every child maximum education to their personal potential. So no matter how rich or poor you are, you can go as far as you want in your education as long as you matriculate. So you're not going to just be given it because you want it. You're going to be given it because you earn it. We call that a meritocracy. So we're going to give every child the equal opportunity to be the best that they can be by not having them being compromised by their parents' lack of assets. Then we want equal rights. So the laws must be rigidly enforced that the president has no more rights than the pauper. The president has to obey the laws in the same way as everybody else, and he gets no privileges for being president. No privilege in terms of he's able to do things and get away with it because he's president, or anybody else in between. So equal rights before the law, equal justice, and a part of equal justice is access to justice. So if you want to have equal justice, you have to make sure that a person might be poor, but they have access to the same level of justice as a person who might be rich. So your justice system must be designed not just to be just, but to be fair and equitable as well. And then safe, clean, and orderly. We believe no society can prosper if its citizens can't feel safe, do not have a clean space to operate in, clean and beautiful, well-maintained, beautiful environment. And you cannot get people to be highly productive and efficient if you don't have public order that allows you to be efficient at what you do. And so that leads us to our pledge, which is kind of all of what I just said. And the pledge says, as one who loves my life, my liberty, and the right to earn, own, and freely enjoy my property, I pledge to respect and help to protect the life, liberty, and property rights of all others, to do my part in helping my fellow citizens create a safe, clean, and orderly society where all may live, earn, and retire with dignity in true liberty, and where unprovoked force and fraud are abolished from all human relationships, so that we may finally become one Jamaica, united, strong, and free. Now, this comes out in our philosophy, and the philosophy, of course, guides everything else. It guides our vision, our mission, our objectives, our values, as well as our pledge. And our philosophy begins with one simple statement: it is the right of every human being to be free. Therefore, the only moral justification of government is to protect the life, liberty, and property rights of every citizen equally. Good governance is therefore the protection of individual liberty, promotion of personal responsibility, and the provision of a safe, clean, and orderly society. Protecting our individual liberty is the only true, the only sure foundation for a truly peaceful and prosperous nation. I'll stop there and get your reactions on that before we go any further. All right. So, what are your thoughts? Did I miss you? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can,
Yes,
Uncle.
sir.
Yes, we can.
Or okay. So, any thoughts, any feedback, any questions?
Well, for the most part, I agree. I am all for it. Orderly Jamaica seems like a good plan. Like, I love the direction it's going. So yes, I'm for
Okay.
it.
All right. What are your thoughts, Rashid? Downer?
Rashid.
Yeah,
Governor.
Rashid. Rashid.
All right. All right. So first, Uncle, let me just say, as usual, I
Mhm.
am fully in agreement. As usual, I fully say, I saying already, in agreement with one to come down to the UIC. So again, I agree, which is why I had decided that we same philosophy with the UIC um and the same key objectives. But when we get, we'll discuss that. But for me, the last part is that I am again in agreement with what you say 100%.
Right. Oh, I see the UIC chairman is on, Sir Winston Wright. Can you hear us, Sir Winston? Winston?
Yes, I can, Mr. President.
All right, welcome, sir. You wanted to contribute to the conversation?
Yes, I absolutely would love to. First, allow me to greet you, Mr. President, UIC President, Mr. Joseph Pattison. Allow me to greet the chairman of the Youth Republic, Mr. Downer Jr. Allow me to greet VP Pinnock and VP Brown and express my appreciation for having the extremely deep and talented end of our youth pool on display
Point of
today.
correction, Mr. Chairman. Point of correction. It's
Please,
It's Madam
uh,
President.
Madam President,
Yes.
thank you for that. So it is very, very, very intriguing to listen to you young folks and to believe that you have the tenacity, the grasp, the vision to conceptualize the Youth Republic. And we thank you for that. I thank you for that. And my first thing I want to know is that my 13-year-old daughter, who is in 8th grade in high school, wants to join the Youth Republic. As a matter of fact, she asked about a year ago, and I asked her to wait. So, for other young persons like herself listening, how can they join the Youth Republic?
I guess I can just take the question. Is that alright, Adriana? Alright, so firstly, we were actually working by a firm to firm basis, but we cut that off, right? How
Mm-hmm.
it is that our contacts will be placed to myself, Adriana, and Mr. Brown. I'm sorry, Rashid. Let me just say, we're all youth here. Our contacts will be Thank you for joining. Welcome back, Mr. Patterson. Our contacts will be posted. they'll be everywhere practically. They're going to be circulated. But uncle, you have my number, I think. So you can send me a message and you can just send me the name, age, and the school that your daughter attends, and we will add her to the group. And we're planning to do let's say like a intro session. So the week after next week, when we have all the new members coming over. We currently don't have an age limit, which is something that we need to work on. But our youngest member is 10 years old, and he's a powerhouse, just like myself. He has position, but not gonna lie, you know. So we don't have an age limit as yet, but yes, she can surely join Uncle, and we can always use extra help, So as the father, you can come in and give us a helping hand as well. So yes.
Okay, definitely looking forward. And not only as a father, as a UIC member, I know the president plans for the future, and that future is right there on the screen. So the president, I'm sure, has plans to make the Youth Republic stronger. And as a supporter of the president and as a member of the UIC, my duty is also to make the Youth Republic stronger. In doing so, we'll be making Jamaica stronger. So you have our support. Now, I have restrictions on how my daughter accesses social media. So tell me, what social media platform do you use for membership?
Currently we just use the Google. One second, please. Google Forms. We don't really have a social media page. We currently go by, if anything that we need to post or anything, it goes to Mr. Patterson and he gives us the ultra directive. But we don't really, unless the person is an executive member, we don't really put them out there like that, because not even the executives are being put out there like that. We don't use pictures of ourselves to put out there or anybody else per se. So it depends, right? So if it's, for example, that we're taking organizational pictures, yes, we're going to post them up, and then but it's going to be posted on the UIC's page, right, Mr. Patterson? I don't think we had discussed it on our GAVA page for ourselves. It's going to be posted on the UIC's page. So everything that we do goes through the UIC. Number one, we always seek parental consent. So there's going to be forms that are going to be sent to the parents for them to sign on each photo op that we're going to have, each event that is going to be taking place, and everything that is going to be taking place. The parent has to give utmost consent. If consent is not given, we'll, the pause for that child, reach out to the parents, see how best we can help and facilitate them, and move along.
Understood. I see the president has his thinking face on. When he's thinking, by the way, look at that face. That's when he's thinking. So just note that.
That's true.
So
I guess he's trying to think of a different option.
So I know he has some ideas brewing right there, right now. But the stronger your alliance with the UIC gets, the more opportunities you will see for broadening the movement. And I look forward to seeing you in the royal blue. And when is your next or your upcoming town hall meeting for the Youth Republic? And Mr. President, will that be hosted on the UIC social media page?
Yeah, but it all depends on the Youth Republic has a lot of what they call it now, autonomy in terms of to work through and then share with us what their plans are, what they'd like to do, and then we facilitate as much as possible. It is in the early stages, so we're looking forward to just maturing together and building it out as much as possible. And at the end of the day, the goal is to make sure that we have very enlightened, very well informed future leaders for Jamaica. Our topic for today, which is entitled, Youth Republic, the future starts now. So we're preparing these young people now to be ready to take on the leadership of our country as quickly as possible. Most of them are 17. They'll be voting next year. Mr. Downer has another 3 years to go before he's ready to vote. But we're progressing nicely.
Wonderful, wonderful. I look forward to hosting them at our national executive.
Mm-hmm.
It will be an honor, and I'm super delighted, Mr. President, this. My daughter has been waiting forever, and even my son wants to, but he might be a bit too young for that. Yeah, he's
Sure.
younger than the youngest members.
We have mentorship programs for young students. So I think it is as a saying that I tell every young person that I meet, no matter how old they might be, do not be intimidated by age. Age is just a number. It is your passion for what you want to do. So don't let anybody tell you that, alright, then you're too young for this. Push for it, fight for it, work for it. As at the end of the day, passion is everything. And as it pertains to the town halls, for right now, I think we're into the process of recruiting, getting new members, getting them to understand what is currently going on in the youth public. So the town halls will be announced in a short order, I have to say, Uncle. So let's just not focus on the public things for now. Let's just
Right.
focus on
Keep building.
hearing what you guys want us to build on, and we can do that, and then we can start building up stronger and creating a better Jamaica.
Wow,
Excellent.
wow. Why is beyond the years? Why is beyond the years indeed? I like that. All right, I leave the line for others who want to participate, Mr. President. I ran through the door because I just had to do this. I just got
No problem. Thank you.
work,
Anytime. Anytime.
definitely. Gentlemen
Thank you.
and lady, have a good night.
Okay. Good night, Mr. Chairman.
Same to
So
you,
yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
So excellent. All right.
Head real quickly, our
Sure. Go ahead.
organization team. So guys, all right. So this is what we had created as a team. I have to say this is what, well, sorry, me and Madam President, most they were the ones that were the ones who were by by next week a presentation will be created. The vision, sorry, contributing is or empower and active citizens, empower and active youth in leadership, empower and active youth in their communities, coming together, contributing to the development of their new communities, so practically rebuilt by the government in process now, and we're creating a new community, a better community to ensure that, their voices are being heard, the young people in there are okay, and advocating persons, right? Advocating for the rights of the citizens within this community, the people community and the people of Jamaica. So we here at with the Youth Republic advocating is one of the most things that I have to say that we're big, as we love to advocate young person. Like worse for those who cannot advocate for themselves. And democracy and inclusion. So our motto, and this has something to do with the UIC in general. Liberty, equality, fraternity. Self-explanatory. So I wouldn't even touch on that, but if you guys have any questions, you guys can tell me after. Or values. We believe in work for fundamental rights and freedom, democracy, rule of law, and equality as the tool to protect fundamental rights and freedom. We are against fascism, dictatorship, and bureaucracy, whether in host communities or back home. So we're saying that we want to hear your voice as to how we can better the youth sector. We don't want to hear other leaders who are on the opposition side. We want to hear your voices. We want to hear the people voices so that we can know directly. All right, then I can't make a promise to them about this specific situation, but I can look into it and try and improve it. Right? Or philosophy. It is the same thing as the, well, I think yes, it is the same thing as the UIC if I'm correct. Don't hold up, I think I changed up some stuff inside of it. It is a natural right of every human being to be free. Therefore, the only moral justification and rightful purpose of government is the protection of life, liberty, and property. Good governance is a system that protects our individual liberty, promotes personal responsibility, and provides all citizens a safe, clean, and orderly society. This is a sure foundation for a truly great, prosperous nation. So we share the same philosophy as the United States UIC. Our key objectives, I think these are the UIC as well. I think we share that as well. As you know, we wanted to have something with our founding fathers, as I call them, or our big mentors up there. The key objective of the Youth Republic is to liberate every single citizen from the diverse. I think the word is incorrect. The diverse and obsessive Uncle,
Colonial,
could you help me?
colonial,
Canolia.
colonial,
Sorry,
colonial,
pronounce it.
colonial,
Cannoli. Sorry,
colonial,
Canolia. Sorry.
colonial.
Colonial system of laws. Sorry. I don't know how I set up tonight. Laws, regulations, and overtaxation. These have robbed their citizens of their right to freely learn, earn, and trade without government coercion, overreach, and corruption getting into the way of their progress. So I think it is the same. Okay, just correct me. I think it is the same as the UIC, right?
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
same thing, right?
quite in order, quite in order. Yes, yes,
Alright,
quite in
then
order.
good. The About Us, About Us, Youth Republic. The Youth Republic is a non-partisan youth organization under the UIC where youth voices can come together to form a collective. This is regardless of sex, religion, ethnicity, race, sexual orientation, or partisan identity. Youth Republic is not only on raising awareness of issues that especially impact youth in Jamaica, but the citizens of Jamaica also advocating a consequential change. To shortly cut that down, so you guys can fully understand for those whose children are listening and they really understand all the big terms, I'm going to put it like what Mr. Patterson put it. The UIC Youth Republic is for every young person who wants to help create a safe and orderly Jamaica where everyone can live, earn, and retire with dignity in liberty. This is all we are. We are a youth group for youth. You know, it is just so overwhelmed and I'm just so excited that it is officially, as I'll just put it, it is officially launched. The Youth Republic is something, I'm happy.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Rashid. On my screen, Adriana and Rashid Brown are frozen, but I hope you can hear me. Adriana, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, wonderful. And Rashid Brown, you can hear as well?
Yes, I'm hearing very well.
Okay, you're frozen on my screen. So very good. Now we're coming up now today. We're at 1 hour and 16 minutes. What would you like to be your last words that you want to share with us before we go until we meet again soon? I'm going to go with Adriana first. Just share your final thoughts, anything that you have learned tonight, or anything you want to remind us of, or any thought you want to leave us with, or any hopes you want to share with us. This is your moment. This is your time. Please go ahead. Adriana, you have 1 minute.
Okay, well, I would just like to end by saying feel free, as Mr. Donna said, our contacts will be posted. And feel free to join, come and help. As he also said, it's your passion that matters, not your age. Come out, assist, help, come on board to help build a better Jamaica. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Adriana. Rashid Brown.
Yes, although the views that both the UIC and Youth Republic share should have been a normality in Jamaica, I am proud to say that being a part of Youth Republic, we are currently in the right direction, and we're just taking one step forward as opposed to taking the normality of going backwards. And so we can finally help our people. And I'm proud to say that Youth Republic is a great decision.
Thank you very much, Rashid Brown. And now for your final statement, Mr. Downer Jr.
Mic check 1 2.
Yes, we're hearing you.
One second, help my brother with something. You can just go on YouTube. Alright, sorry about that. He's with me, so he wanted to watch some YouTube. Final statements. Whoa. I'm actually in shock because this is the idea that I had and it's coming to completion, I have to say, so I'm kinda in shock. But as my Madam President said, well, or Madam President, I should put it into the different term, don't be afraid to reach out and come out. We will always be here to help. No matter how young you might be, no matter or how old you might be as well. We might as well have a position to fit you into as an advisor or something within the organization. You can post inside of the chat, you can post inside of the stream, on the Facebook Live, the YouTube Live, if you would like to be a part of it, to become a member, you would like to figure out a way that you're old. Sorry, no, that's not how I should put it. You are not a youth, but you would like to help. You can put inside of the chat, and we'll reach out to you to try and get you incorporated into the program. If we don't reach out to you, please send us an email. They'll be put inside of the chat if I'm correct. Or go on the UIC's page, look for the email there, look for the number to call and tell them you would like to be a part of the Youth Republic and they will hook you guys up. So yes, as in my closing close with a very wise statement that somebody very close to me who's here now and who's the president of the UIC said to me that Rashid, no matter what your goals are, you can accomplish everything once you have passion. And that is how I close tonight.
Thank you very much, Rashid Downer.
One more
thank
thing,
you.
one more thing.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
On behalf of my NEC, well, the YNEC, the Youth National Executive Council, I would like to say, I'd like to apologize for the absentees of my other executive members. They do send their deepest apologies and they promise to be here next meeting that we'll have for you guys to officially meet the full exec and we can touch on a few topics that you guys have.
Wonderful. Thanks
Over to
again,
you.
Rashid Downer, Rashid Brown, Adriana Pinnock. It's really a great day for Jamaica today, for the people to see you and hear you and realize that we have hope as a nation, we have hope as a people. And the values of the UIC to return to the people of Jamaica and hopefully to the wider Caribbean and then to the full African diaspora and eventually to the rest of the world. Because the truth is, when we get the whole world to appreciate the importance of protecting our individual sovereignty, that's when we get to the highest degree of harmony that we can have in local and global communities. The general trajectory of the world has been towards having some oppress others, having some having more rights than others, having some thinking that they have the right to dictate to others. And that is why the UIC stands firmly against any form of monarchy, any form of recognizing anyone as more sovereign than any other, any form of dictatorships, and which is why we want Jamaica to move quickly away from the colonial mindset and the colonial constitution that we have to a true republic where the rights and freedom of all Jamaicans will be fully protected and the people will be empowered by an environment that brings out the best in them and one which allows them to be masters of their own individual as well as collective destiny. So tonight, we see that our future is in good hands as we continue to work with these young people help them to mature in their respective roles, and eventually to take the baton from us, the older ones, who ourselves must make sure they have an environment bequeathed to them that is better than the one that our parents left us. So to all of you who are watching tonight, thank you very much for your patience. Thank you for your contributions. And I hope to see you, if possible, on September 22nd, downtown Kingston at 10 a.m. as we have our walk for good governance now. Thank you and have a good night. All the best. Bye-bye.